closer.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to this flicker shot tutorial. This is a move that is difficult already, even with the tutorial, so I want to try and break down how I learnt it. I've noticed online it's very difficult to find a good resource for this, but I will, however, link the Virt's website who I first became aware of this move from. That'll be below. But let's get into how to do the flicker shot. So the flicker shot is one of those moves that everyone thinks is knacky. Now it is a knack to begin with, but I promise you once your muscle memory gets used to it, it becomes very reliable. I've used this on stage, I've used this in performing situations. You just got to get comfortable with it, and you have to take the time to get the right positioning, which we'll go through in a second. So just know that when you first start, it's going to feel really unco, but as soon as you get the right trajectory and the right arc, the right curvature, then you're going to be fine with the rest of the move. So the things to know are where it's going and the hand position, and you have to know where to look as well. A lot of people are worried about over here, whereas you have to be looking where you're going to actually catch the card. So first let's go through the hand positioning. There are two versions of this. One if you're just placing the card and doing the move, and the other one is if you're doing a flourish first. The position is the same with a minor difference. So the foundation is this. Take a look at where my hand is. This is the main position you want to be in for the move. You'll notice my index finger isn't in this, and it's my thumb and middle finger that are doing the majority of the work here. So it's my thumb that's pushing down and releasing, that's allowing the card to actually shoot. And the ring finger and pinky finger are just acting as support on that card. Now your ring finger is your pointing finger is completely out of the way, and my thumb is only on the corner of the card. It's not here. It's all the way just on the edge, so that when it pushes down, it's gonna slip off the side, which is what allows it to actually get its projection. Okay, so that's the first thing you need to know, is you need to be comfortable with this position. You should be able to move your hand completely and it be lodged in place. Once you've got that, you want to start letting it go, but don't worry about doing it behind your head yet. You want to start getting used to that arc, and you want to know where it's going to shoot. So start doing it in front of you so that you can get used to seeing where it's going and how high it's going, how far it's going. Because when you first start doing this, it's just gonna like shoot up in the air, it's gonna start fluttering around, it's really gonna do a lot of crazy stuff because you're just not used to what angle you need yet. So just get used to doing this for a while. Once you're used to this, the second thing you need to be comfortable with is the angle that you're shooting at. So let's give you a better look at that. All right, let's go through the trajectory you need to set up for this. Now, at this point, you're good at shooting, but you'll notice when you change the position of your hand, it's going to shoot in different ways. Now I've seen people do the flicker shot where instead of getting that float, they're just going up and they're just trying to shoot it up and somehow catch it, and that's when it goes crazy and unpredictable. So the way to get that right float happening is the angle that your arm is actually shooting it. So you need to test this for yourself, but for me, getting it on this, I guess this would be a 45-degree angle, is what works best. So I get my finger positioning, right? And then I put my arm at a 45-degree angle. Now, the further away my arm gets, this card stays horizontal. It does not change like this. So it always stays at that angle, because the further away you get is dependent on how hard you can actually shoot this. So if you can really fire that card, then you might want to go further away, but that arm will still be 45 and this will still be horizontal, okay? The card itself is, if you, I guess, look at the angle it's at itself, it's not quite at a 45 like my wrist. It's more of at this sort of, I guess, 35-degree angle. So when you're ready to shoot it behind your head, you're literally gonna keep this position, but move your arm back. So by moving it back, it'll allow it to create that same arc, but behind your head. However, when you're doing the shot, once you know this is set up, then you want to now look over here where you're going to try and catch it. One thing to note is when you're first starting to catch it, do it without a deck in your hand. So just do it with the card itself, because it's way easier to catch this when it's an empty hand. As soon as you have a deck in your hand, now you don't have as much control with your hand. So you're only trying to catch it with these little, fingertips. It's much harder. So once you've got to this point and you're comfortable with the trajectory, the finger positioning, the angle, practice it with just an empty hand like this, so that you're comfortable with catching it before you start adding in the flourish and before you start doing it with the deck as well. But we'll get into that now. Now, if you do other card flourishes and you want to be able to add this into your routine, I'm just going to show you the basic way to start from holding a card to getting it into the position to actually do the shot, okay? So the most simplest way to do this, and the reason why at the beginning I said there's a slightly altered handling, is that when you do the flourish, you're going to end up in a position where it's the same, except for your ring finger is bent behind. And the reason for that is, one of the easiest ways to get into this flourish is if you're holding a card, the way to do this is just by folding in your ring finger. Just by folding in your ring finger, you can literally just turn this card and now line up your middle finger and thumb. And now you're ready to do the shot. And the reason to do that is because you need a finger to be able to lever this card over to do the positioning. So literally, once you're doing your flourishing, you literally just put your ring finger behind and turn your hand, and that will allow you to get the right grip. Now, your ring finger being curled in is not going to affect the shot at all. It's just going to now allow you to get into it in a streamlined fashion. So now let me just show you me catching it. There's no real particular tip for catching it when you have a whole deck. It's just that you need to get really comfortable with the float of the card, and that will allow you to catch it efficiently. But let me just show you a couple of those now. So by now, hopefully that's given you the tools you need to create your own flicker shots. Make sure you like and subscribe for more quality content coming your way. Put any questions you have below, and I look forward to seeing you again.